I live in the Redmond area, a suburb of Seattle, and my favorite place to get gas for my car is closer to Bellevue. We have a gas station that is considerably cheaper than the rest of the gas station. As far as I know, the quality of the gasoline is just as good. And so, but the problem is I don't spend a lot of time in Bellevue. It's not somewhere I commute to regularly. I have a doctor I see there twice a month, and then maybe some activities there. So about a week ago, I needed gas, and I went to a gas station here in Redmond, but the price was a little bit higher than I expected, so I only got 2 gallons of gas. And later that week, I needed some more gas, and when I looked at the price, it had gone up even more, and I just got so upset that I decided to keep the car parked and started walking a lot. And then a couple of days later, the gas price had gone up a little bit more, and I said, oh my god, I definitely can't buy gas now. And so I started walking even more. Funny thing is that the price increase was not ridiculous. It's not like it went up $1 a gallon. It went up like 10 cents a gallon. You know, and even if I use 10 gallons of gas a week, that's like $1 every week. And I'm just being very emotional there, and probably because I also love to walk. So it turned out okay. But it makes me realize how bad humans are at making rational decisions. We get very emotionally tied to our decision. To be honest, probably wasn't the dollar I was after. It was probably my self-esteem at how I had made an incorrect guess at the gas prices. It's probably that. A lot of times when I talk about being hurt in terms of money, when I'm negotiating my pay of some sort. I'm negotiating, I'm selling coins, and I'm negotiating the price. A lot of times, even if I have a good price, the self-esteem issue is a bigger problem. Well, this is why I've made it a rule to not check my investment accounts regularly. I set it up and then boom, it's done with. Sometimes I go years without logging in, to the point where I forget the password and I got to go through all these hoops. But I like it. Because at the end of the day, your investments aren't going to do very well if you cash them out, and which is probably what it would lead to if I checked my investments all the time. Speaking of driving, I had an issue with my when I was renewing my car insurance. You see, I drive an older model car. It's a 2011 Mitsubishi Lancer, and it's already got almost 6 figures on the odometer, and I really should get rid of the collision insurance. But I just have this feeling of Murphy's Law that the moment I get rid of it, I drive away from the insurance agent, kaboom. And so every time I renew it, I just increase the deductible a little bit. I have a hard time with getting rid of it, even though I know that sanely I probably should. It's one of those things where emotions get in the way of sane financial behavior, and it's something, unfortunately, we have to look at. It's not something you could just set and forget in that case. But the nice thing is I did get a lot of walking, which I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't get so emotional with the gas prices. 2 years ago, I had gone on vacation in Gdansk, Poland, and I gave myself a terrible time with exchanging currency because I was trying to time the market again. I had some US dollars, and I needed to exchange it for Polish zloty. And I kept thinking it was going to drop the next day, and so I would only exchange $10 or $20 at a time. And the agent there gave me a dirty look because he thinks Americans probably always exchange hundreds or thousands of dollars, and I was only exchanging $10 or $20. He must have thought that I was an illegal alien there or something like that, just living cheaply, in Poland, they just have a certain rate. There's no commission added to per transaction or anything like that, which is what made it reasonable to do that. When I go to Taiwan, they add a commission to the transaction, which would make it harder to do something like this. But I would exchange $10 or $20, and then the next day the price would go up, and then I would, oh my god, I'm only going to exchange another $10 or $20. I made the whole trip just really miserable. But at the end of the day, I got to interact with all these cashiers who thought I was living there illegally, so it was an interesting experience on its own. It makes me realize that we humans are terrible at making rational decisions as much as we think we're making them. I mean, the most I could have saved that trip. I don't know how volatile the Polish currency. Probably not very. At least not since the Cold War when they had in the 90s when they had huge inflation. And the most I could have saved the entire 2 weeks I was there was probably no more than 20, 30, $40 maybe. I mean, you spend thousands of dollars when you go on the trip in the first place. And you wouldn't save 20 to $40 to give yourself a miserable time. People would be much willing to pay that to avoid. And I don't know why I did it. It's not very rational for sure, is what I'm trying to say. But we humans are pretty irrational. Well, there was a study one time. Well, a lot of people seem to think they can beat the casino by this betting strategy where you double your bet every time you lose. I can't remember the name for that. But they did a study one time where they asked people to make up a series of coin tosses, and people significantly underestimate the number of streaks of heads or tails in a row. So that could be something in our lives. We think that because something hasn't happened recently, that it's due to come up, and we make irrational decisions because of that, or because if you were to buy 1,000 Polish Zoid one time, and then the price goes down the next day, you're going to remember that a lot more than when it goes up. It probably is the basis for some of these irrational behaviors. But it turned out well. I got a lot of walking this past week, and because let's face it, next time gas prices might go down, and I might be inclined to not walk nearly as much. So it turned out okay. Thanks for watching.